Welcome, everyone, to this briefing brought to you by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF. In Hebrew, our name is Abitchonistim. IDSF is the leading Israeli organization advocating for strong national security priorities to defend the land of Israel. Thank you so much to all of our viewers and supporters for tuning into this briefing. A little bit different than usual. We are on location in a very somber place, as we'll discuss in a minute, just about 7 kilometers from the Gaza border. And I'm very pleased to be joined by Captain Adam Ita, who is from the IDF spokesperson unit, who is going to share with us where we are in the meaning of this location. Adam, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
I've been here with you on a number of occasions. It's hard to come here, but you really have opened up this location to Israelis, to people abroad, to the media. So thank you so much for bringing us here, for giving us access.
Sure.
What can you share with us about where we are?
Well, so first and foremost, let's talk about the name of this place. This place called Tkuma. Tkuma in Hebrew means revivement. And in the full name of this place is from Shoah to Tkuma. I probably don't need to translate Shoah, but from Holocaust to revivement. And once you see the sites behind me of this wall comprised of 300 burned cars, completely burned cars, you can understand how symbolic that is. This place is one of the pieces of the puzzle of October 7th. There are 1,650 vehicles in this lot, all attacked by Hamas in different conditions, and they are providing a silent testimonial for the atrocities of what the Palestinian terror organization has conducted here. And we here in this place in order to make it a bit more vocal and tell the stories in this place.
Sure. So I know that each car has a story, and you're very in tune with all of the stories and all that these cars represent. I want to get off camera.
Sure.
And I want you to speak directly to our viewers, and just like you take groups around, pretend like we're a group with you, watching virtually, a virtual tour of this location.
We have about 300 burned cars that were completely burned by Hamas terrorists on October 7th. All of those cars were attacked. They're either booby-trapped or attacked with hand grenades, anti-tank missiles, RPGs, you name it, they had all types of ammunition. And those cars were brought here by the Southern District of the Home Front Command in a very complex and organized logistic effort. We recruited more than 200 tow cars, forklifts, that pretty much picked up those vehicles from all around the envelope of Gaza, from the routes, from the communities, from Nir Oz, from Be'eri, from Kfar Aza, from the Nova Festival, the Peace and Love Festivals, where many youngsters have lost their lives or wounded. All of those vehicles were first met in the fields. Some of them we had to make sure that weren't booby-trapped by the terrorists. We had many terrorist vehicles. Some of them we are going to see in a few minutes, that we had to make sure that are not booby-trapped. And the sites in the fields were very, very difficult for our people. Because first of all, when we approached the vehicles, we had to evacuate our dads, our brothers and sisters that were shot dead in those vehicles, which was a very tough task logistically and mainly emotionally. And then, only then, we could bring those cars here to Tkuma. It was an improvised parking lot at the beginning. Now what become an official outreaching site and heritage site in Israel for people to come and see and witness the horrifics of October 7th, some of the horrifics of October 7th. I can share one thing about those vehicles behind me. There's a wall which you're about to see just in a little bit, like a kotel, if you want to say. All of those vehicles that were burned were deliberately burned by the terrorists. They even came with a special formula to make the cars burn in such a high degree to make sure that the human bodies inside those vehicles will turn into ash. They tried to send a message, I think, for us Israelis, that the enemy that we have beyond the fence is so evil that will try to burn us and turn us into ash, and the idea of the state of Israel to turn that into ash. But what did we do? For about 3.5 weeks, we recruited a team of 35 reservists from the Rebbenet. and they are from the all the streams of Judaism, Chabad, secular, Orthodox, all types. And for 3.5 weeks, they dived into the ash. They came with special vacuums that were provided for this tax, with brooms and scrapers. And for 3.5 weeks, they cleared about 20 cars per day, every day. And every time that the car was cleared and was completely vacuumed, once we were sure that there's not even a single drop of ash, there was a forklift that came and picked up that vehicle and placed it here. So car after car, that's how this pretty much this monument was created. And once you see all those cars gathered as a collective, you can even you understand better the magnitude of evil that we faced on October 7th, and how anxious the terrorists were to evaporate us and the idea of Israel. Just like Moshe said earlier, each and every car here has a story to tell, and let me tell you, it's a story from hell. Some of those stories I was asked by Moshe to share with you guys, and I'll do so. If we could go here. This vehicle right behind me, I don't know if someone can guess. Until October 7th, believe it or not, that used to be an ambulance, an Israeli ambulance. We found this ambulance just like you see it, upside down on its side, actually, in the Nova Festival. We weren't really short of wounded people at the Nova Festival, and the driver that was there tried to actually take care of as many wounded people as possible, and take them out of the Nova Festival to a safe place to get treated, get a medical treatment. Terrorists that spotted this ambulance shot an RPG towards this ambulance, and this ambulance simply was burning on fire. When we cleared this ambulance, after we got here to Tkuma, we found the remains of 16 different people. 16 different human remains came back after DNA testing. And I'm not sure if anyone heard that number, if anyone even heard about the story of this ambulance. And that's why I said that this ambulance is a symbol for two things. One, and it's clearly easy to see, is the evil of the terrorists that see an ambulance and deliberately shoots an RPG in order to kill wounded people against any international law. But I think that for people that behead the babies and burn people, families alive, I guess this is an expected thing. The second thing, the second symbol, is maybe we can say for the hypocrisy of global media today, that won't share the story of this ambulance, but will share stories like striking a hospital within minutes and tell us about 500 dead Palestinians, while in fact this hospital was struck by a jihadi missile and not by Israelis. So this is what we're currently combating, those stories, and that's why we're here. This ambulance is one of the stories that we have to make sure that the world knows about, and that's what we're trying to do here. I want to talk to you about one other symbol. And one thing that's important to say about October 7th is that on October 7th, we as a military, though I was a civilian on October 7th, I'm a reservist myself, as a military, we didn't respond the way we should have on October 7th. That should have never happened, and nobody says otherwise. But there's also the other side of October 7th, which is, once it happened, how did we respond as a country, as a military, as a nation? And I think that once you see this vehicle behind me, is a vehicle of a special forces, special police forces of Hamas. I think it's a symbol for the brotherhood, for the bravery of the people. Some of the Israeli people went south to fight sometimes without even carrying a weapon. We had civilians that went to the Nova Festival, took 10, 12, 14, 15 trips back and forth in order to save civilians that they don't even know, risking their own lives. Sometimes, in many cases, sacrifice their own lives in order to save others. And that spirit of the Israeli people, I think that this is one important thing that we've witnessed on October 7th. And I think that this is the foundation of what our country is built of, at least one of the foundations that our country is built of, and why we will always have future in this country. So just like those Hamas members, combatants that arrived south with very limited ammunition, many of our fighters fought simply until their last bullet. They met a magnitude of force, 3,000 to 4,000 terrorists across the fence in 3 different waves, which we never expected. But they fought hard, managed to kill many terrorists before many of them have lost their lives themselves, not before fighting bravely. I would like to share with you one more story and maybe talk more about the method of the terrorists and how they behave. Yeah. You can look at it here. This what used to be a nice Audi is a Audi that was owned by a family of four members, a father, a mother, and 2 young children. As I said, each and every car is a story to tell. It's a story from hell, and we try to learn the stories. We will never know all the stories, but there are some things that we have learned that are telling us the story as a collective. That as a collective, we understood some of the methods that the terrorists have taken. Like in this vehicle, for instance, we could see that there are shots to the hood, AK-47 shots to the hood. But if you see the way I'm standing, even though if I'm holding my gun just like that, I'm already with the height of the shield. So the question is, why do we have gunshots in the hood? Well, it's not in order to blow up the car, because in many other scenarios, they shot an RPG towards the gas tanks. What they tried to do was to stop the car, to turn a moving target into a stagnant target. And once they did, then they decided what to do with the objects inside. That's how they viewed the Israelis inside the vehicles. In this case, it's clearly that the decision was to execute first the driver, then they executed the entire family. We managed to identify even a human remain from a very young boy that was missing for quite some time, and then the DNA testing showed that it belongs to a young boy from this vehicle. So a family of 4, unfortunately, all dead. And again, if right behind you can see how this kotel, this wall has comprised, and again the magnitude of evil that we had to face. If talking about evil, we kept here a small group of 3 Hamas vehicles. You can see behind it there are approximately 1,300 cars, 1,300 more cars. All those cars were damaged and were brought here from Be'eri, from Kfar Aza, from the communities, from the routes. All of them are right here. We have many terrorist vehicles, pickup trucks, a pile of 180 to 200 motorcycles, all the foreign completely separated from the Israeli vehicles. But we did want to keep a few Hamas vehicles here, so the people that arrive here, we be able to witness what the terrorists have come with. So in this case, we have a vehicle of a Nukhba commander. Nukhba is Hamas, if you can say, elite forces, if you can call them like that. It's a pretty nice car for a terrorist to have, and that would belong to a Hamas commander. Again, just imagine, most of those vehicles, those trucks, pickup trucks and cars, were smuggled through the underground tunnels Those tunnels are crossing under Rafah from Egypt to the Gaza Strip. So if anybody is wondering about the necessities of Rafah, but again, just like this vehicle, there are other vehicles which we can go around and you can see it from the other side. This is a Dodge Ram, believe it or not. And a Dodge Ram is a monster of a vehicle when it comes shiny out of the dealership. But here, the Palestinian terrorists have tried to do something else. They even customized this vehicle. They built this stage, and they built it for two reasons. First, they were able to fit way more people on top of it, 10, 12, 14 people within one vehicle. Second, they're able to slide all their munitions in the bottom, hand grenades, anti-tank missiles, RPGs, all sorts of ammunition. That's what they carried. Fortunately, one more thing was this, a bulletproof piece that was actually assembled on the pole. On that pole, there was a placement for a machine gun, a 50 caliber, like a .5. Each bullet is this big and can split a human body in half. And that's what they came with. It's like an ISIS copycat vehicle. You could see many of those ISIS vehicles running in Syria back in those days, and we've met them here. A couple of those we met here. Luckily, if you can say luckily about some of the things that occurred on October 7th, one of the wheels was stuck in the ditch in the Nova Festival, and we found this vehicle stuck in the ditch. So it didn't manage to do as much as damage that it could have done otherwise. And lastly, I think that probably one of the iconic pictures, you can say, of October 7th is one of those pickup trucks. Shabbat, Simchat Torah, the Black Shabbat, there we call it in a few different names. I was with my family in Ashdod, which is about 50, you can say 30 to 40 miles north of here. Woke up from the alarms, one, second, the third alarm. I knew that this is something different is going on, that we're in war. And then, though it was Simchat Torah, I turned on the TV because I understood that this is there's something different going on. It's we have to see what's up. And I think that the first pictures that we've witnessed was the pictures of those pickup trucks in the city center in Sderot. I thought that this was an AI. I thought that this is something that is it's impossible. That it's really it's not something that anybody thought that it's viable in any way. But that's what we've seen. We've seen 10, 12, 14 terrorists in each and every one of those running the city centers, shooting police vehicles, shooting people. But they ended up here. So I usually do these tours for influencers around the world, parliament members, and anyone who's willing to come and hear the story. And the reason why we do that is once they hear, they also become witnesses. And once they become witnesses and know the truth and see the truth, hopefully they go back to their places and spread that truth once they're witnesses. And one of the things that I try to make them feel is this. And I'll do that for you guys. This is how the terrorists came with. They came well prepared, well organized, with tons of ammunition. And just think what the kid in Sderot felt once he faced this war machine on a Saturday morning. I can tell you that they didn't discriminate. They shot whoever they saw, women, children, elderly, anybody. And again, beyond the cruelty, I think that we also now facing there's like about the truth, what's really happening. They say that they didn't aim to. It's even hard to repeat that. They didn't aim to kill civilians. They didn't try to hurt civilians. How can you claim that they didn't aim to kill civilians once you came with those? How do you claim that you don't aim to kill civilians while you're deliberately shooting missiles from Gaza Strip towards city centers, towards Israeli city centers, aiming to target civilians? It's like wars don't matter anymore, and they can say whatever they want, it will fly. And unfortunately, now when Jew hatred meets ignorance, it's become flammable and radioactive, and that's what we're currently combating. And I know that people outside of Israel are now facing that as well, and this is something we're well aware of, and that we have to fight. And this is one of the ways to fight it. I'll step down from this vehicle. And Moshe, if you have any questions.
Adam, maybe for a second you can just share what's going to happen to this place. I mean, it's overwhelming standing here and seeing all of this. Are these cars going to rust? What is Israel planning on doing?
Well, they're already rusting. It was a big black wall before, and with the rain, they started to rust. Fortunately, the Heritage Office, the governmental office of Heritage, took custody of this place just recently, about a week ago, and will turn this place into a like an heritage site, like an official heritage site. So we're very happy about that. It will allow people to come here in a very safe way, an advanced way, and then hear the stories and to preserve the site. Obviously, there's a lot of work to do to make sure that those cars, won't just break down. There's a lot of some, you can say, industrial work to do here, engineering work to do here, and it's going to be done.
Adam, thank you so much for sharing this. I want to end this briefing if we can just silently walk amongst some of the cars. I mean, from where we are right now in the front of this site, you can't even see the end.
No, you can.
Overwhelming.
The horizon is full of cars. Sure, we could
definitely. So I just think thank you to all of our viewers for tuning in and watching this. And just because of where we are and what this place represents, we're just going to end the briefing following you, just walking through the cars and thinking that each car represents a story, represents a Jewish family that lost their lives. So we'll follow you with the camera.
Thanks. Just be careful here. Moshe, I can't really finish this briefing without mentioning one more thing. And if you could please take that blue vehicle over here. There's one last story that I want to share with you, folks. It's the story of that blue Fiat. I was here maybe a month ago with two out of the bigger accounts in X or Twitter, which you probably know. And along with them, there was the cousin of Omer Shem Tov, which is he's still kidnapped in Gaza. And she was here with them. And she told me that maybe I will find Omer's car. And as we start walking, she goes like, "Oh my God, this is Omer's car." And she points that blue car that is very hard to miss. She pulls out her phone. She looks for a photo. She sees that the number is the same plate number of this vehicle. And then she completely breaks down. Her name was Liat. And then she started to tell the story of Omer. And she said how Omer and his friend Ori Danino, which is the owner of the car, managed to flee the party in Reim. And though they flee the party of Reim, they came back to save their friends, Itai and Maya Regev. And after they picked them up, on the way back, they were pulled by the terrorists, and they were taken. All of them were taken. Maya and Itai, thank God, are already here. But we're still waiting. We're still waiting for Omer. We're still waiting for Ori. and for the other 132 kidnaps that are still in Gaza. And we don't forget them. And this is why we're in war. If anybody forget, this is time to remind that we have 134 people that woke up in Israel on October 7th and are currently in Gaza, not because they chose to, obviously. It's because they were taken from their homes, from their beds, from their cars, from the festival, and they did harm to no one. So it's a righteous war. We didn't start this war. We didn't want this war, but we will sure win it. And we will win it for Omer, for Ori, and for the rest of the kidnaps. This is our obligation to do so. Oh, you can see all the damage. All right. These are all the Hamas vehicles. So all of those, if you're still with us, are Hamas vehicles. There's a pile of almost 200 motorcycles. These are brands that manufactured in the east side of the world. Dayun, Halawa. These are these aren't brands that we manufacture in Israel. All crossed on October 7th from Gaza. And just like those pickup trucks, we have a couple dozens of those here in different conditions. Some burned, some badly hit. You can walk around and see.
Adam, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us.
Thank you, guys.
We're going to sign off right now. Thank you, of course, to all of our viewers and supporters for tuning into this briefing. We'll be back with you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, everyone, stay safe, stay strong, and take care.
Thank you.